Welcome to Javo's Garage. Today, I need to replace the window regulator in our 2008 Ford Expedition as our window has quit working and I need to get this going before we go off on vacation. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to actually get to the window regulator, get your panel off, how to replace the regulator and get everything put back together again and get your window working for you. Now, once again, this is on an 08 Ford Expedition, but I know this is going to work for many different model years as well as a couple of different, like your F150s, Expeditions and whatnot. So hopefully you'll find some good information in here. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into our project. The first thing we need to do is let me show you where all the fasteners are that hold our door panel in place, and we need to get that off so we can get to the window regulator. We actually have 6 fasteners that secure our door panel in place. We have one here on the top right hand side to the outside. We have 2 that are behind this little access panel here in our door pole. We also have one here in our door handle, and it's behind another little panel that kind of hides it there as well. And then if we go down to the bottom of the door, we have 2 more down there that we're going to need to remove. Now, in my case, what I decided to do is start up here on the top right hand side. I just used a small straight screwdriver to pop off the cover, and then I took a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver and removed that fastener. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and just remove that plastic piece. I want to set those off to the side so they're out of the way. We'll put those back in later. Now for our door pull, I'm just using 2 small straight screwdrivers here. I'll just put them in those little slots down in there, pry upward and out, and it'll pop up there, and that just gives you access to those 2. Those each are a 7mm. We need to get those out, and we'll go ahead and just set those off to the side. Moving on to the door handle, I'm just using a small straight screwdriver to pry off that little access cover there, and then I'm going to use a 7mm socket to go ahead and remove the fastener. And then I'm going to use my trim panel removal tool to get that panel taken out and set it off to the side. Then just a 7mm to remove the 2 fasteners along the bottom. Then my trim panel removal tool just to pry out on that top left hand corner. We have a retainer there. To remove the door panel, I'm simply going to lift up on it and then pull out on that top left-hand corner and just lift it up and away from the door. It's quite simple to do. Now, once I get it off, we have 3 wiring harnesses there. We need to get disconnected for our speaker, our window switch, and our door lock switch. And then you'll just press on the little tabs there, and that will release those out of there. You have to pull on them. But then what we need to do is get the foam barrier removed, and we have just a wiring harness that's secured to the regulator there just above the speaker. We'll go ahead and get that done, and then I'm just going to take a razor blade and just slowly and gently work that around the barrier and slowly get that taken off. Now, in real time, this took me only about 4 minutes to do, and it's quite simple. We want to get that done and get it set off to the side. But once I get it off here, you can see where that tan is. You'll see that is where the adhesive is that actually secures our barrier to the door. With our barrier removed, I'm able to clearly see the cause of our problem here. Our cable has broken down inside of there, so we definitely got to get this all replaced. Now, what I'm going to start doing is just disconnecting our wiring harnesses here from like the window motor, the impact sensor. I need to get the speaker taken out. Those are basically a T20 Torx bit. And I'll just disconnect the wiring harnesses from that, set the speaker along with the fasteners off to the side, and then just rework that wiring back up through there, set it off to the side so it's out of my way. Now we need to get the door pole support taken out, and that has 2 T20 Torx fasteners in there. We'll go ahead and just get those removed. And then we're going to go ahead and just set that off to the side and then just finish working off our wiring harness here, get it done, get it popped off of that assembly and set it off to the side so it's out of our way. Now I just want to take out our impact sensor. We have 2 T20 Torx bits there, and we'll just go ahead and take that off and set it off to the side. Now it's time to get our door handle taken off, and you'll see we have a tab up top there, and you just want to lift up on that tab a little bit and pull that out. and then you just pop your cable out there and set that off to the side, and we're good to go. Now that we have everything kind of taken off, what I want to do is I need to take out the fasteners that actually secure the window into the little clamps, and you'll see them here up inside the door. Each one of those is a 10 millimeter. I'm going to go ahead and take those fasteners out now, and then what I want to do is I want to secure the window so it doesn't move. Once I get the regulator out, you could use tape there if you need to. We have 9 fasteners that secure the regulator in there. They're 10 millimeter on each one of those, and I'm going to go ahead and get those out so I can go ahead and start pulling out our regulator. To remove the assembly, I found it easiest to slide it to the left as far as I could, and then work the right side of the assembly out, and then get the left-hand side of the assembly, and it came out without a lot of hassle. You have to do some work there, but it comes out. Now our replacement part here is 749-543, and I'll have a link to it down below in the description. I got that from Dorman. They run about $85, and you'll see it comes complete with everything except for the motor, and you do have to transfer the motor from your old assembly into. Now basically putting it back in is just going to be the reverse. I'm going to start on the left hand side and then work in the right hand side. I did have my guide come off, and I'll show you here in a few how I dealt with that. There's just a little rubber plug, if you will, that holds it in there, and I just push that back through. No problems whatsoever. And here we go. Here I'm showing you how that works, and it's really easy to do, and it just puts it back in there. It is secured with 2 fasteners, but this just actually secures it to the main assembly there for your regulator. Now it's time to go ahead and just start putting our fasteners in, getting everything lined up. And once we get those in, I secured that rubber bumper back in there, and then just start tightening down all of our fasteners, make sure everything's good. Don't forget to put where your motor mounts there. You'll see it's kind of hanging. There's just 2 tabs. You'll just lock that into place there on the main assembly of the regulator. Then we'll go over and we'll remove our old motor, and those are a T30 Torx bit. There's 3 fasteners, and we'll take that and just reinstall that onto our new regulator. Make sure you don't over tighten these. You are going into plastic with it. Now at this point, what I want to do, since that's in, is I just want to plug in the window motor, the main part of the harness, and then the window switch, because I just want to do a quick test and make sure everything's working good before I put everything back in. So now that I have that in there, we'll hit our window button here a few times. Oh yeah, that's working great. So now we can go ahead and we can move on. We know it's working. Now I want those resting points for the window to be where I can easily see it, because I'm going to take the clamps off, and then what I want to do is just gently and slowly slide the window down into those little rubber clamps, or those boots, if you will, and make sure it just seats down in there properly. And once I'm sure that that's done, I want to roll the window up so I know it's sitting straight, and then tighten those fasteners back down, and then test it again just to make sure the window rolls up and down correctly, and everything's looking great. We're able to move on. So now it's just basically putting everything back in. And so to redo the door handle, we just want to put the cable back into position, and then we want to put that bottom pin there, goes into the hole that's there in the assembly, and then we're just going to push the handle in and then secure the cable into the assembly as well. And then we have just a little retainer there for our cable, and I did go ahead and do just a different, more up close shot for you so you can see exactly how this door handle goes into position. It's actually quite easy, but this should give you a real good idea. And we'll just press that into place. Took 2 thumbs, popped right in. Now we can go ahead and put our impact sensor back in with our T20 Torx bits. And I want to go ahead and just start plugging in my wiring harnesses, my impact sensor, get them secured, run my speaker wire back through. Now I want to put in my door support and get that put back in with the T20 Torx bits. Time to reinstall our speaker. Make sure you get everything plugged in there, and go ahead and install your fasteners so everything's looking good there. Now it's time to get our barrier put back in. Just make sure and get the wires run through it, and then just work that around. Just make sure the adhesive's secured back in there, and we just want to go ahead and get our door panel put back on. We're almost done. Now the first thing we want to do is make sure and we get all of our wiring harnesses plugged back into the door panel so that we're good to go there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the door panel. Want to make sure your door lock knob is going through the top of the door, but you want it to be, as you can see here, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches higher than its normal position. And you'll push it against the door and then press down, and the hooks that are in the door will actually go in the slots in the door and then secure it, and then tap that top left hand side to get that retainer put back in. You see I'm kind of pulling on it here just to make sure everything's seated properly and it's looking good. Now I thought I'd take a second here to just show you where those hooks are located and where they go in the door, and hopefully that can help you as you put your panel back in. Now it's time to just put our cover back on. It just presses back into place. We go ahead and put our fastener back in there, and make sure to put the little cover there over your fastener. From there, I'll go ahead and put the 2 fasteners back in where our door pull is located. I'll move down to the bottom of the door, put our 2 fasteners back in there along the bottom. And then last but not least, I need to go ahead there up on the top right hand side and get that secured with our Phillips head screwdriver. So, you know, all things considered, I'm really happy with how this job came out. It's actually a pretty easy job to do. You should be able to do it in your driveway in maybe 45 to 60 minutes, depending on your skill level. But this is something you can certainly do and save yourself a lot of money in the process. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If it has, please do me a favor and hit that like button for me. It just lets YouTube know that y'all appreciate my content. If you'd like to see more videos like this one here in the near future, why don't you hit that subscribe button and stick around here with me in the garage or the driveway, as today's case may be. But as always, I appreciate you stopping by, and thanks for watching.